I will now like to invite the General, well, let me explain this. We've got two generals in the police. Don't get confused. We've got a Minister General and a General of the South African Police. Well, I'll explain that a bit later. I will now call upon the Minister of Police, General Bheki Cele, to give his keynote address. May I request you all to rise.
The portion I like about this one is that it depends on me whether I sit down or not. You may be seated. Well, Program Director, Acting National Commissioner of the South African Police, Lieutenant General Bonang Mgwenya, the head of DPCI, Lieutenant Advocate Dr. Godfrey Lebeya, Divisional Commissioner of Crime Intelligence in your absentia, Chairperson of the LOC of the Conference, Major General of Rikama, Taphold Director of Organized and Emerging Crime, Mr. Paul Stanfield, President of the Underwriters Laboratory, Notorious Brandley, Assistant Commander General, Dubai Police Major General Abdul Kudus, and all protocol observed, all dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm told that this is a conference of genuine staff. I hope there is no counterfeit seated here, and I hope everybody here is genuine. Let me extend my warmest welcome to all to the mother city in South Africa. It is such a privilege for us as the South African Police Service and the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation, popularly known as HOCS, to play a part in this very important event, a first on African soil. It is at this conference that represents our ongoing commitment from all over the world to intensify the fight against counterfeit. Protection of intellectual property rights is critical to every sector of the economy. The challenge is that intellectual property crimes are treated differently from the traditional crimes of theft. But the concept is the same: stealing is stealing, thieves are thieves. Everybody understands that it is wrong to walk into a store and take something without paying. At the same time, the act of downloading a movie from a file-sharing site or buying a cheap knockoff of a name brand item may seem harmless. But the reality is that the accumulated economic loss from those illegal transactions can destroy small, medium, and large legitimate business. It is clear we have a shared and unwavering commitment to addressing the challenge of the influx of counter goods in the marketplace. When there is such a commitment to strengthen intellectual property enforcement, it reassures innovators and investors that when they devote time and money to developing new concepts and products, they will reap the financial rewards. If government fail to protect intellectual property rights, there are short and long-term consequences. These include intellectual property owners will lose revenue and brand equity, consumers will be exposed to unsafe and dangerous products, governments will lose out of the duties and taxes payable to them. Ladies and gentlemen, the long-term impact of the economies across the world, and especially ours, are devastating. This type of crime will result in decreasing investment, which will mean the economy won't grow and new jobs won't be created. It is a crime that literally takes food off the table for millions of households. I think we can all agree that we don't want this for ourselves or to the future of generations. This is why we need to fight this thing now and win it here. In South Africa, we have declared a war against counterfeit goods. In August, local police customs officials conducted raids in Johannesburg, the country economic hub. The raids saw good results and good returns in that kind of rate. As a police minister, I personally went to these operations to see for myself the extent of the crime. Of that day, over 200 million rand worth of counterfeit items were taken off the street. The raid also found unlicensed firearms in these high-rise buildings. This clearly points to dangerous criminal elements that are also at work. Over 500 foreign nationals were arrested, for those that are not documented in the country. We also arrested some of our own police, 7 of them who were involved in the same stealing of counterfeits. So as Lal, we are not playing here. Program Director, our fight against this crime does not end there. Just last week, police again confiscated a 14 million rand worth of counterfeits. We are continuing with this operation, especially in the city of Johannesburg. Up to this point, just these operations in Johannesburg alone resulted in 235 million rand, that is almost 16 million US dollars of fake goods taken off the street in the past 2 months. In an effort for us to dismantle these syndicates and suffocate the network, we have shifted our focus from targeting illegal traders to focusing on manufacturing and distribution points. This is yielding results, as the operations have led to the shutting down of several manufacturers and points of supply, especially in Johannesburg CBD. It is a fact that criminals are always looking for vulnerabilities in the criminal justice system and within the consumer environment. When law enforcement disrupts an illegal activity, criminal networks come up with the new tactics. We must stay a step ahead of criminals. Esteemed guests, these illicit acts undermine the rule of law. We are aware that some of consumers knowingly buy counterfeit products to own a brand name, bag, or shoe without paying the price for that real thing. I hope everybody here, if it is that brand, is that brand. Many consumers also fall victims to unscrupulous sellers who market or promote counterfeit products without disclosing that they are not authentic. Counterfeit products often look identical to legitimate ones, and consumers may unfortunately only learn that they have been cheated when it's also too late. If we are to dismantle these criminal networks, we must work together and commit ourselves as international, regional, and local partners. We must continue to explore different approaches to improve our effectiveness in combating this global criminal pandemic. We need to be creative in our approach and use all our available resources and tools too. I encourage the private sector to pursue civil litigations and for the National Prosecuting Authority to pursue criminal proceedings against perpetrators of intellectual property. It is crucial that we strengthen our ability to pursue criminal charges against perpetrators and seize their assets or freeze their funds accumulated from these illicit activities. Let us also rope in the public to assist us in detecting and reporting the crime. Members of the public must be alerted to the harms caused by intellectual property violations. As I conclude, Program Director, Mr. Brandley, I know that you are an expert in validating the genuine stuff of these brands. As they go out, I'll put you on the door and check every bag here. Will be my pleasure. And check every bag if it is really a genuine stuff, or we're sitting with counterfeits here and we talk about counterfeits. Let us continue to promote and protect rule of law and protect intellectual property rights. I hope you enjoy your stay in South Africa. I'm told that there are about 70 countries that are here. That is a big conference, and I hope and I believe that South Africa will benefit out of that. And We have regards from the Cabinet of the Republic of South Africa. Each time these events come here, you report to the Cabinet, and that's why the Cabinet was asking, why don't you move your headquarters in South Africa? Because it looks like every week, every month, we have an event from the Interpol in South Africa. Welcome home again. Some of you have been here about 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago. Stay put, but work hard and make sure that this is not the home of criminals. As I have promised, we will check your staff as we leave this room. Thank you very much.
Thank you, General Cele. Indeed, General Cele, your presence here speaks volumes of the kind of leader that you are. Earlier this week, last week rather, I was in Bloemfontein and we were deliberating on whether the minister wanted a media briefing, and everyone said, "Nya, he is a man op die grond." So it clearly means, loosely translated, it means he is a man on the ground. The operations that he was talking about, ladies and gentlemen, this man leads them. He's always at the forefront. Thank you for your leadership and your guidance, Minister. I now invite Lieutenant General S.G. Lebeya, National Head, Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation, to deliver the vote of thanks.
The Program Director, thank you very much for allowing me this opportunity. The Honorable Minister of Police, General Cele, the Interpol Director of Organized Crime and Emerging Crime, Mr. Stenfeld, Interpol Executive Director for Technology and Innovation, Mr. Oberoi, the Acting National Commissioner of the South African Police Service, Lieutenant General Mgwenya, Assistant Commander General for Excellence and Pioneering Dubai Police, United Arab Emirates, Major General Abdel Kudos, the President of Underwriter Laboratories, Mr. Brady, the esteemed facilitators, speakers, and leaders lined up for this conference, members of the International Criminal Police Organization, distinguished delegates, members of the media, all protocol observed. Good morning to all of you. I deem it a great honor to propose the vote of appreciation on this opening of the 13th Interpol Intellectual Property Conference. Let me start by thanking Interpol as an institution by once more affording South Africa an opportunity to host this prestigious conference. South Africa, which prides its 11 official languages, is the 11th country to host this conference. Yes. The two countries have repeated themselves, which is why we are the 11th countries hosting the 13th conference. It is the first time that the intellectual property conference arrives in this continent. This in itself is an achievement. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to express our profound gratitude to the Honorable Minister of Police, General Cele, for gracing this seminar. Minister, your efforts in convincing the government of the Republic of South Africa to allow South Africa to host this conference on the tail of the second Interpol Global Drugs and Illicit Substance Trafficking Conference is highly appreciated. Such gesture in the era of economic turbulence and belt tightening shows South Africa's unwavering commitment in the fight against criminality in all its manifestations. I'm aware that without your continuous support, this conference would not have happened in the Republic. over and above, we are further inspired by your thought-provoking address. I know that you always walk the talk. You have set aside this time in your busy schedule to bless this occasion. You have indeed set a tone for the conference from the highest level of government. The participant will do well knowing that their presence in the country is sanctioned at cabinet level. May you continue to lead the fight in squeezing the space against criminals. Your wisdom of reminding us that downloading some of the intellectual property without permission is criminality is appreciated. The declaration of the war against counterfeit is much appreciated. Thank you very much for setting the tone. May I propose a round of applause. Distinguished delegate, allow me then also to thank Assistant Commander General of the For Excellence and Pioneering Dubai Police, United Arab Emirates, Major General Abdel Kudus, for the smooth handing over of the conference baton from the Dubai Police to the South African Police Service. Voluntary handover by a general is much appreciated. Essentially, the practice should become a norm in every sphere of life and in every corner of the globe. In that way, the much needed global harmony will reign supreme. The establishment of capacity to fight intellectual property by the police in the United Arab Emirates shows the serious commitment to fight this scourge. May I also propose a round of applause. In the same vein, I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for Mr. Stanfield of Interpol for unpacking and uncovering what is expected of this prestigious conference. I cannot thank you enough, sir. I appreciate your untiring efforts in actively driving the organized crime and the emerging Directorate in the Interpol. By taking the fight to criminals across the globe, your footsteps are still visible on the shores, on our shores. And I appreciate that you have once more decided to descend to the mother city to wage the war against organized criminal groups across the globe. I'm aware that your Directorate is extremely busy. While you were expected to participate in the 7th Global Conference on Human Trafficking and Migrant Smuggling, it was equally expected of you to participate in global projects to tackle illegal drugs, fake medicines, fake foods, fake travel and identity documents. You are not spared in the smuggling of precious metals and endangered species globally. It is a mammoth task. Your commitment in executing your assignment does not go unnoticed. Since your assumption of your responsibilities in 2017, you must have had very little time of your own. As a police officer of almost 3 decades, you are heeding a lifetime calling. Indeed, the presence of a cryptocurrency complicates our way of interdicting organized criminal networks. Your call for cooperation cannot be over.